Welcome to another episode of Apocalypse Never.
We're only here at this moment, this very dangerous moment, because of Donald Trump's impulses.
We're at the early stages of a hot war. It is a monumental moment.
This is absolutely insane, and it's going to draw us into that region in a way that we absolutely cannot afford.
War with Iran is madness, and it is strategically and morally a disaster.
That would have widened and exploded the Middle East into a war like we've never seen.
That strike has predictably with an exclamation point, kicked a hornet's nest in the Middle East.
Predictably. What a convulsion of chuckle buckets. They were so ready for Armageddon, because then that would all be on Trump. I haven't seen that much wishful thinking since Michael Moore tried on leather pants. But as usual, the end took a rain check. Bummer. Don Lemon had just installed a foot bath in his fallout shelter. And Chris Cuomo just stored all his remaining Botox in his face. But did that stop the stupid? Hell no. In an effort to maintain the anti-Trump narrative, one dolt compared Soleimani to Lady Di.
When Princess Diana died, for example, there was a huge emotional outpouring. These kinds of Elvis Presley in our culture. It turns out that this general we killed...
Lady Di? Elvis? I think Chris has been smelling too many of Eric Swalwell's farts. The point is, though, you better not kill a bad guy, because then he'll become a martyr. I guess from now on, we only send angry letters to their local paper. Or maybe a strongly worded poem recited by Deepak Chopra at the UN. So here's the theory that's going to blow your mind. Why is it when Trump uses any force, the critics go nuts? Because, as even the New York Times admits, Trump has used military force less than any president since Jimmy Carter. Which is why the media hysterically amplifies it, because it's so rare. So when it happens, they have to milk it for all it's worth. Now you see it? I get it. I do the same thing when once a year my wife gets a little drunk. I make a huge deal out of it, because I may never get the chance again. But the media will take any chance to call Trump a fascist. Imagine idiots like this after Pearl Harbor. You know, maybe if you didn't have all those shiny boats out there, which are used for war, this wouldn't have happened. It's fun watching Trump force Democrats to defend stuff no actual human would defend. Here's The View applauding white racists. I love that. I can just say The View and everybody's heart sinks. But here they are applauding white bigots because now they both hate Trump.
What's some good news? This is a tiny thing that I noticed. You remember Richard Spencer? He's basically the organizer of Unite the Right,
Lunatic.
the white nationalist group that was marching in Charlottesville. It was all in for Trump. Not anymore. Here's his quote. He tweeted last night, "I deeply regret voting for and promoting Donald Trump in 2016.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. I mean, that's big. That's interesting.
They're applauding white supremacists. I think the tiny thing Joy noticed was her brain. I can't wait to see The View's hour-long tribute to the Boston bomber after he calls Trump a weenie. But that's a lib choosing politics over morality. From Weinstein to Epstein to Clinton, every pig gets a pass. And now, so do murderous generals. So Iran launched missiles into space somewhere between an American base and a Kmart in Cleveland. And then they declared it over. Then they called it proportionate to the killing of their top general. Imagine that. It's like they deliberately whiffed on 3 pitches, then trotted around the bases like they hit a home run. I mean, if you're Soleimani's ghost, you got to be pissed. That's the send-off? It's a weird message from Iran that maybe we got rid of a guy who was a pain in their neck, too. For Iran, it's like finding out your car got stolen, and it was a beat-up 72 Corolla. You know, you were trying to get rid of it for years, so you parked it in a bad neighborhood with the keys in the ignition. That was Soleimani. So sorry, media. It's a thinker. Sorry, media, it wasn't Operation Desert Shield. It was more like Operation Desert Rash. The press conference lasted longer. So So I wonder, should the American people be extremely grateful and happy no Americans were harmed?
The American people should be extremely grateful and happy. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime.
For now, and that is a good outcome. Of course, his critics are pissed he didn't give them a heads up. But maybe he didn't have time to call up Nancy, who was not operating with a full deck.
We didn't have time to call up Nancy, who was not operating with a full deck.
You could tell, and would you tell Schiff? After all, he is a big leaker.
Schiff is a big leaker. You know, he leaks to crazy CNN. See with the little red light on? Shifty Schiff. Say, gee, Adam, how you doing? Listen, we have the world's #1 terrorist. We got him lined up, Adam. You little pencil nut. He buys the smallest shirt collar you can get, and it's loose.
Look, no one wants war, but what we saw wasn't war. And unlike the media and Democrats, we aren't stuck in a prison of two ideas, where it's either do nothing or it's World War III. No.
I say I can be more presidential than any candidate that ever ran, than any president, other than maybe Abraham Lincoln when he's wearing his hat.